Just first of all, looking back at 2021, we're going to kind of highlight some key highlights, and then we'll delve into a bit more on the specific technologies that we see as being game changers in our world, and also game changers in the business world, I guess, as businesses look to adopt new digital transformation strategies. So first of all, just looking at this slide, businesses have gone under a significant amount of change over the past 12 to 18 months, really. And that's really been a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. A lot of businesses who were, bricks and mortar retail, for example, they were forced to go digital. A lot of businesses who were, previously, working, face to face, coming into the office every day, they needed to go remote, and all that has really accelerated the adoption of digital technologies that were here, all the time. Zoom was there, and video conferencing is there, and there was the ability to work from home. But that really forced that acceleration upon businesses, and also consumers were forced into, for example, shopping online. So that had a massive effect on the acceleration of digital across all of society. We also saw in the first half of 2021, Companies House welcomed an average of 80 new businesses every single hour. So that's up 32% year on year from the same time period in 2020. So that signals a rise in entrepreneurship. And that's also come from a lot of the government incentives. And you've seen that as the government have incentivized people to create new concepts. We've also seen it as a business as well, and some of the funding that's come through and helped innovators kind of create new digital concepts, and really helped by that funding. And the interesting thing there is that the number of people on furlough dropped by around about 60% in the first half of 2021, but a lot of people there returned to their old jobs, but it seems like a significant number there have decided to then start their own businesses. So people have really been invigorated to follow that lifelong ambition to then start their own business. And there's also been government money pumped into the economy to help businesses do that. I'm always a firm believer that today's businesses will employ tomorrow's people, and a lot of the government incentives have gone towards supporting that ethos. Quite interesting. Now you've seen an increase in the number of job vacancies, so that's risen by around about 90% since the start of the year. So that also suggests that perhaps people are not returning to their jobs, and then there's more people kind of creating their own concepts, trying to create their own businesses. And you also saw as an impact of COVID-19, businesses started to shift their priorities. So they were moving from the instant need to go digital to actually servicing consumers who are ever demanding in the digital world. So as people become more technically aware, people start demanding better digital services as standard. So that's quite interesting. And if you look at this report by McKinsey, you can see that a lot of companies were focusing on things like security and privacy. With the likes of GDPR coming into effect, and more businesses than ever going digital, they've needed to secure that data, and also consumers are very much aware of their own rights when it comes down to data as well. Also user friendliness. So people have, or businesses have now, as things have started to plateau in terms of the adoption, more people have become digitally aware, and which is a great thing. So that's there to stay. But as people become more digitally aware, businesses need to then service clients in better ways, because they demand more digital services, and also user friendliness there. So in terms of the user journey, making it more inclusive for all users, all those things come into effect now, and we've seen businesses now invest not only in getting digital, but also improving that digital capability now. Also, customer interactions, quite a very interesting point there, is that people are edging towards more hybrid interactions. So even though things are going more digital, consumers are suggesting that they still want a human approach to when they're online. And things like AI can support that. We will go through that in a few slides. But what you've seen there is people are demanding more of digital now. They've become more digitally aware. They're demanding more of digital. And as the pandemic eases, as people get more into back into the normal stream of life, what you're probably going to find is that the industries that were most vulnerable to the loss of digital consumers, they may be those that saw the biggest gains in digital adoption during the pandemic. And so that suggests that a lot of these new technologies that people have taken on are that's ever evolving. So it's really an interesting time as people start to slip back into the normal way of living their lives and doing business, and get out and about a bit more than the lockdown period.